Hello and welcome to the Girl Spit Travel Podcast. I love to travel, and I love to hear other people's stories about vacationing and traveling. This podcast will focus on just that. We'll talk about everything, the good and the bad, the destinations, things to see, places to avoid, to the food. In this first episode, I talked to Kaitlyn about a recent trip to Italy, a bucket list destination for many people, including myself. I'm not just going to talk to you when you go out of the country.
That's not the only time I'm interesting.
Yeah, you're always interesting.
I mean, I don't know. It really might only be when I go out of the country.
It's not.
But
you recently went on a trip.
Yes. I went on a study abroad trip to Italy. And we started in Rome. And then we went to Assisi. And then Florence. And then Venice. And then back home.
So how long were you gone?
10 days. 10 days. We were not home for 10 days. I don't really know how long we were in Italy.
But your trip was planned for 10 days.
Yes, my trip was planned for 10 days.
Okay. So I have to ask, did you have to get any shots or anything like that?
No. I mean, I kind of felt like I should have. But, like, they weren't like, you need to get this vaccine before you go. But, I don't know, I kind of felt like I should have. I felt like there should have been more pomp and circumstance to going.
So they didn't ask you if you were up to date on, like, a tetanus shot or any of that crap?
Nope. I guess because, like, it was through the school. So, like, they technically, like, have our medical records through the school. So, and you're supposed to get a tetanus shot before you start college there. But, Mom just signed the paper and I've not gotten mine yet.
I don't think you're going to step on a rusty nail over there.
Probably not. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe.
So there wasn't, like, any asking, like, if you had any shots?
No. And then we didn't have to get, like, a travel visa. We just had to get the passport. Because when our school went to India, everybody had to make sure they had, like, a travel visa.
What's the difference?
I have no clue.
Oh.
I think it's probably just another hoop to jump through. And, like, it depends on, that country's relationship with the United States and stuff like that.
So you just had to get your passport.
Mm-hmm.
And how long did it take for you to actually get your passport back?
It took 2 weeks for them to send back the photo the mean lady at the post office took of me. And then it took about a week and a half to get my actual passport in after I had sent the original photo that the lady told me was not acceptable.
What was acceptable?
It was totally acceptable.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Like, your trip totally started, like, technically your trip started when you went to get your passport.
Yeah.
With the mean lady at the post office.
With the mean lady at the post office who made me cry because she told me I was ugly and squinty.
I know you will never forget that.
No, and I think I have to go back to the post office because of what happened while I was over there.
I wouldn't go to our post office.
I'm not going to. I think I'm going to go to the one in Bigstown.
Yeah, because there's not some big mean lady who works over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who has no idea what she's talking about.
Who has no idea what she's talking about and probably will have no idea what a temporary passport is.
Oh, God, no. Oh.
Why I have one.
So, you started your trip in Wise.
Yes. We got to UVA Wise. We were met, like, in the softball parking lot at 5 that morning. And then we got in a passenger van, like a church bus, like what you take on, like, youth group trips, and loaded up and drove to Washington, D.C.
I've never been to Washington, D.C. How long did it take to get there?
Like, it only took 8 hours to get there. But on our way back, it took a lot longer than that. Because we got caught up in, like, traffic and a car accident and a bunch more traffic. And so getting there wasn't bad. It was just getting back.
What day did you leave on?
The 7th. May 7th. Our plane was supposed to take off at, like, 11 or something. No, it was supposed to take off at 3, but we were there at, like, 11. to make sure that we had enough time to like get in the gate and get through security and that kind of thing. There was airline strikes in Frankfurt, Germany, and our flight was indefinitely delayed. So we ended up spending 8 more hours in the DC airport, and we ended up going to like an extension of the Air and Space Museum, and I saw the space shuttle and the plane that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. And then I had to spend $15 on a cheeseburger because the only restaurant we could get to was like the really like fancy one that they have in the airport. That was the only one I could get to. And then we went through security, and then we ended up flying Turkish Airlines to Istanbul, and we spent 6 hours in Istanbul, and then we flew back. Then we flew back to Rome, and we ended up getting there like I think a day and a half later. We were supposed to.
Oh, that is so awful.
Yeah, it was like time travel because I'm really not sure how long we were in the airports.
And all the time changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, all the time changes. You were just like, wait, what day is it? I know it was daylight when I left, and it's daylight here, and it was all different dates, and like Istanbul is like ahead of Rome, I think, on the time thing. So I just know my card got declined, and I napped in the floor of the Istanbul airport. Not one of my finer moments.
Was it, did you have to go through a lot of customs when you left the United States, or was it pretty, like, standard security?
It was pretty standard. And surprisingly, it was pretty standard coming back. Like, we just downloaded, like, the mobile passport app and literally just, like, showed the dude our phone.
Really?
Yeah. And then we got to walk out of the security part of the airport. We got our luggage. We got sniffed by the bomb sniffing dog, and then we went home.
Huh. I thought there would be a much bigger to do.
I did too.
Especially coming back.
Mm-hmm. I did too. I thought to do, like, coming back would have been like 2 hours sitting there. And maybe it was just like we came in at an awkward time, so they weren't very busy. But I was pretty sure that we were going to be there all day, and we weren't. So
I figured they'd go through your luggage and everything.
Me too. And I don't think my luggage was searched, like my checked bag.
Mm-hmm.
And my carry-on wasn't searched either. They didn't ask to see it. Like, they just ask you, do you have anything to declare? And that's...
What does that mean?
It means, like, do you have any fruit? Are you bringing back any cheese? Are you bringing back any wine? Do you have any commercial merchandise? Do you have anything totaling over $10,000?
So there's a lot of crap that falls under that.
Mm-hmm. And I just clicked no, 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 no. And then done. And then I showed the dude my thing, and he was like, okay, stamp. And then we walked home.
Did you bring anything like that back with you?
Yeah, I brought 2 bottles of wine back home, but they were in my checked baggage, and nobody said anything. Like, I kind of thought it was going to be an issue, like, bringing them back because I'm not of age here. Mm-hmm. But, like, I was of age where I bought them. Nobody said anything.
Yeah, that's kind of why I didn't bother to give you any money to pick me up a bottle, because I thought, well, she might have a big problem coming back in with it.
And they didn't say anything to me, so I was like, okay. And, like, you can't bring it back unless it's vacuum sealed.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know, parasites can't get in it. I really don't understand why you have to have it.
How did you vacuum seal it? Like,
they vacuum sealed it where I bought it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. But, like, they didn't go through my luggage to check if it was vacuum sealed or not.
Huh.
Yeah, it was kind of odd.
That is kind of weird. I thought they would be so strict.
I thought it would be really strict. Them, like, searching my stuff. And
I really thought, well, you had a harder time than coming back from the Bahamas.
I didn't go to the Bahamas.
Oh, where did you go?
Hawaii.
Hawaii, that's where you went.
Yeah, I got flagged in Hawaii for having organic material, and it was the lollipop that I'd had since I left Kentucky.
Yeah. So you had a way harder time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we had a friend who went to somewhere in Mexico, and they missed one of their connecting flights because it was so bad, like, coming back through customs. And because they were searching, like, everybody's crap, and they just told them, like, you're not going to make it to your next plane, so deal with it.
Yeah, I knew a girl who went to Costa Rica, and, they have those little tiny bananas, And she, like, put them in her checked bag, and she was like, I'm going to bring these back. And they, like, opened her luggage and was like, no, you're not allowed to have these. She was like, I'd just throw them away, I guess.
What else can you do?
Yeah.
Customs and stuff like that scares me.
It was kind of scary. I mean, the bomb sniffing dog was cute.
So pretty much your original plane that you were supposed to ride on strikes.
Yes.
No one's going anywhere.
No one's going anywhere.
And you ended up riding on Turkish Airways.
Mm-hmm. Turkish Airlines, and they were some of the nicest planes I have ever been on. You know, they've got, like, the screens in the back of the seat, and you get 2 blankets, a pillow, 2 pairs of headphones. They brought us 2 meals on the flight from Washington to Istanbul. They brought us 1 on the flight from Istanbul to Rome. And they weren't just like the pretzels in the water that you get. Like, this was like a full, like, meal service. Like, you got choices each meal.
Choices?
You got choices, and, like, they had, like, vegetarian options, and
Oh my god.
it was really cool.
I always see that, like, when we book things through, like, Priceline, like, it says meal option. What kind of, do you want a vegetarian or do you want this? And I was like, what airline is actually giving you food like that? Because I've never been on a plane that offers you shit.
Turkish Airlines. And then we figured out on our Belgium flight, like, back, usually, like, if you fly, like, American, Delta, that kind of thing, like, you're paying for everything that's not water. Like, if you end up getting the wine or, like, the little, like, spritz, you pay for them. They were free on our Belgium flight.
Even in coach?
Yeah, even in coach. They weren't asking anybody for money.
That's amazing.
It was awesome. I kept getting Sprite and Sprite and Sprite. Because at this point, my stomach was getting a little queasy. And I was just like, I'm just going to drink my 4th glass of Sprite. Thank you.
So you land in Rome.
Yes.
At
midnight. And all of the buses and stuff close at 11. So our only choice back, like, to get to the monastery is walk 4 miles. Which we weren't going to do.
That's pretty long.
I mean, yeah.
That's a bad walk.
With a bunch of luggage in a city we weren't real familiar with, especially this part. And so we get in a bunch of taxis and drive back. And it was €60 per taxi, which is like $70 American per taxi, and we had to take 3.
That seems so outrageous. How long was the ride?
Like 20 minutes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about taxis, but that just seems like they took advantage of you.
Yeah, I felt like we were had.
Yeah, I think they knew, like, oh, well, what else are you going to do?
I think what happened is, like, okay, so their meter wasn't running. And, like, I guess they'd already met their quota for that day, and they were just doing it this way so that they could pocket all the cash instead of having to split it with, like, the taxi company.
Oh, my God.
And so they just gave us a flat rate no matter how long it took. And it was €60.
Oh, yeah, because, like, they didn't speak English.
No. And they were just like, €60. But, like, we had to pay it because, well, A, we were already in the taxi, and B, there was no other way to get there.
So where did you stay?
Yeah, and we stayed in, like, various monasteries throughout Italy.
Is that the only place that you stayed was monasteries?
The only place. I never saw a hotel, and, like, if you go through the school, you can't stay in Airbnb. So, like, you have to stay in a hotel or a monastery or a hostel.
Hostels scare me.
Hostels really scare me, too.
That movie didn't help. Have you seen that
No,
movie?
that's what I was going to say. The movie Hostel didn't really help anything.
I still wouldn't want to do it, but that movie didn't fill me with any confidence to want to do it. So.
No.
But, so how did the monastery compare to, like, rooms over here?
They're very small. First off, you know how, like, when you go to American hotels, like, the hallways are huge? And you're like, why are these hallways so big? No. The hallways over there are small. I mean, small. And, then, like, the rooms, once you got in there, were very basic. There was, like, 1 outlet in the whole bedroom. And it was 2 beds. There was a desk and 2 nightstands. And then in the bathroom, which was also very small, there was a sink, the tiniest shower I've ever seen, a toilet, and a bidet.
Oh, and a bidet.
And a bidet. There was a bidet in every room I stayed in.
I like how they make room for the bidet.
Yeah, but...
Did you use it?
I tried, and I don't know. I don't know how to use it. I've never used one before. And so, like, I turned the, like, okay, it was basically like a toilet, except there was, like, a little knob on the back, and you just, like, lift it up, and, like, water sprayed out of this, like, spout coming down. Kind of like a sink, but in a toilet shape. And, like, I sat there, and, like, I was trying to, like, I wasn't using it to, like, clean. I was just using it to figure, like, to see if I knew how to use it. And, like, there was just, like, water, like, just hitting my butt cheeks. I was like, there's no way I'm getting clean. Like, there's no way that this would clean you off. So I just wiped myself off with a little bidet towel and went on my way.
Oh, so it has a little towel.
Yeah. Normal, like, it's about a medium-sized towel, like what we would wrap our hair up in.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's what you're supposed to use on your butt after you, like, have water sprayed up your ass cheeks.
Very nice. I've never even seen a bidet, so...
I mean, like, I have seen... These were very basic bidets. I have seen fancier bidets.
Where did you see fancy bidets?
My uncle likes to think he's all bougie and, like... But, yeah. Okay, was trying to put a bidet in his house.
Oh.
And so we had to go look at bidets one day.
So, you're like a bidet aficionado.
Yeah. Some of them, like, the lever's, like, on the side, and, like, the water comes out the bottom.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I feel like that's much more efficient.
Right.
Because, like, yeah.
Like, that's where the hole is. So
yeah.
It's, you know.
Like Old Faithful.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the geyser. But no, this was just like a sink, like, that I put my butt in, and it was very ineffective.
I would totally try to use it too.
Yeah.
Those interest me.
I was really curious, because, like, one of my teachers who went was like, oh, you all need to use the bidet. Like, they're the best thing ever. They need to come to America. And so, like, he'd hyped this bidet up so much that, like, I had to try it, and it was a failure.
You should have asked him for directions. You should have said, you know, I tried to use this bidet, but all I did was spray my cheeks. So what is the secret?
What is the secret
of the bidet?
Because, like, there's no way that you can properly line up your asshole to the faucet because it's going down. Like,
so it's like shooting out of the back? Like,
yeah, like, the faucet's coming out of the back, and it's just like a regular sink faucet. So,
what?
like, the water's pointing down. And, like, maybe you were supposed to, like, stop up the bidet. like a bathtub. And just, like, put your ass cheeks in the water. But, like, I didn't really want to sit in, like, ass water.
I don't think that's how you're supposed to do it.
I don't think that's how I'm supposed to do it either.
I don't think, like, you're supposed to fill up the tub and, like, dip your fanny, like, into the water.
No.
I don't think that's how it works.
I don't either. But...
I think the point is the pressure.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe he stayed at fancier places that have proper bidets.
Yeah.
Maybe he was let down too.
I feel like that one was very bare bones.
You should do a follow-up with him and just ask him, hey, did you think how did you like the bidets?
Because I couldn't figure out how to use it.
Yeah. So there was a bidet in every one of them?
In every monastery. And I mean, some of them didn't even have, like, blow dryers. Like, you know how blow dryers come standard in a hotel room? Not all of them had blow dryers, and, like, not all of them had, like, internet, cell phone signal, like, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So very, very basic.
Yes, they were very, very basic.
Did you have TV?
No. No. None of the rooms had a TV in them. None of them had our one in Rome had a phone. You could use a landline phone to call somebody.
I don't understand, like, that it is a monastery. Like, it used to be a church, and now it's a hotel?
Okay, so the one in Venice and the one in Rome used to be monasteries. Like, nuns used to live there, and now they've converted them into hotels. But the ones in Florence and Assisi are still run by nuns. Nuns still live there. They still have church there. They just have guests as a way to make money.
Oh.
To pay, like, for the electric and stuff.
That's weird.
It was really weird. Sister Sylvia was a very scary lady. Very masculine. This one girl had a really heavy bag, and, like, she asked her, like, boyfriend to carry it, and Sister Sylvia was like, no, and, like, she just lifted it, like, over her head, and we just kind of were all like, Are you a lady?
She was in like, was she in the nun outfit?
Yeah, she was in the hat and the... Yeah, and she was like, she was telling us that, like, all her other sisters were at church. And, like, it was just her. So, like, if we had a problem, we had to ask her. So I just, like, didn't mention any problems I had. And, like, we asked her, we were like, can we get on the Wi-Fi? And, like, she pointed, like, to a desktop computer and was like, if you need internet, you come here. And we were like, okay.
So no.
Yeah, and the monastery that Sister Sylvia worked at didn't accept debit card. Cash only. And so we had to go withdraw cash.
Oh, you hadn't already paid for your rooms?
No, we paid when we got there.
Oh, I thought that was like included in
It was included in the price, but like I paid for it on like the college credit card.
Oh, okay. But you had to go get cash because
Yeah,
they didn't.
they didn't take debit, so we had to go get cash.
So when you got to Rome, it was like 12 o'clock at night.
Yes.
What time did your day start the next day or later on?
We met in the lobby at 8 for breakfast.
Oh.
And we had breakfast till about 8:45. And the breakfast in Rome was fantastic. 4 different kinds of croissants, orange juice, apple juice, both kinds of water, a meat and cheese tray. Oh, breakfast in Rome was so good.
Did you walk somewhere to have breakfast or was that in the
No,
monastery?
this was in our monastery.
Oh my god.
That was fantastic.
That was like their continental breakfast.
Yeah, that was their continental breakfast.
Oh, not like cereal?
No, like fresh baked croissants and meat and cheese. It was great.
That sounds amazing.
It was, and like some croissants had like chocolate in them, and some of them had like the cheese in them. And my favorite ended up just being like the regular, like it had like cinnamon sugar on it.
Oh, that sounds so good.
They were so good. I ate like 3 every morning. They were so fluffy. Oh, they were great.
So after breakfast, where did you go?
We went to the Coliseum, and like the only tour that we could get that gave us access to like the upper part was in Italian. So we have no idea what our tour guide said for any of it. Except one point she mentioned President Obama. And we did understand that.
What about President Obama?
Okay, so in the Coliseum, there's a recreation of an elevator that they used to, like, raise up animals to, you know, go be slaughtered. And Obama paid the money to have the elevator rebuilt. And it was some sort of gift to the Pope.
And they talk about that on their tour.
Yeah, they talk about it on the tour. They were like, gift from Obama. And we were like, got it.
That's such an odd part of the tour. It seems like,
Yeah.
you've got all this awesome history, and then Obama gave us this.
Yes.
See? This is from Obama.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
I
So,
think everybody over there kind of likes Obama.
huh.
I like Obama.
Yeah, I'm guessing they weren't talking up Mr. Trump.
No, and like that's a thing over there. Everybody thinks that everybody in America voted for Donald Trump. And we were like, yay, we like Obama. And then like our tour guide was like, Donald Trump? And we were like, no. No. And she was like, yay. And then like hugged us.
You got a hug for that?
Yeah, we got a hug for not liking Donald Trump. And I was like, all right.
So what did you think about the Coliseum?
It was really cool. I mean, it's as cool as everybody says it's gonna be. Some stuff that like we saw like it had been hyped up so much that we were just like,
Why?
yeah, like the Spanish Steps. Those sucked and took me like 4 days to get there.
Was there a lot of people at the Coliseum?
There was a ton of people at the Coliseum. I mean, like in the line and like outside especially, because a lot of people just go and see the outside of it and don't like do a tour. But you should really do the tour, because like the stuff inside was way cooler than the stuff outside.
So the line looked longer than what it actually was?
No, I mean the line was pretty long.
How long did you wait to go inside?
We waited like 45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
It wasn't bad. They move you pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
The Coliseum was there was a whole lot of people, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of people because you're so spread out and it's huge. I mean, like, it's one of those things that you almost want to be like, was this built by aliens? Like, because they're huge. Like,
I seen some of your pictures. It seemed awesome. And the fact that there wasn't like a ton of people like cluttering up your pictures.
yes.
Really, like, it's like, oh, maybe there wasn't a ton of people there. Which, you know, the thing is if you can't take pictures where there's just not 1,000 other tourists in it, that to me looks like how good of a time could that have been if it was that crowded?
That's how, like, the Spanish Steps were. Like, there were so many people there, and I was like, why are there 300 people looking at a bunch of white steps? Why am I here to look at a bunch of white steps? I mean, like, that's literally all they are. Or it's like 105 white steps.
Oh.
And I mean, they're big steps. They're really big steps, but they're still just steps.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fountain at the bottom, so maybe that's the attraction, but there were so many people cluttered around this fountain that I didn't even go look at it. It's like, after spending so many days in Rome, you're just like, get me out of here. Like, it's so crowded.
Is it mostly tourists or is it local people?
It's mostly tourists. Although there's a ton of cars, so some of them have to be local.
Is it dangerous to walk over there?
I never felt endangered by people. I was pretty sure they were going to run over me a few times with their cars.
Mm-hmm.
But, I never felt like somebody was going to, like, come up behind me and, like, grab me or anything. Like, I never felt like... And that might have been because, like, we were traveling in a group.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I never felt, like, unsafe.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
But, like, their driving laws are so different over there that, like, people drive up on the sidewalk and, like...
That doesn't seem like it should be legal anywhere.
Yeah.
That just seems stupid.
And, like, you're kind of like, that's not a road. What are you doing? It's not a road. And then they just keep on driving.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the streets are so narrow there. Like, they weren't built for cars. Mm-hmm. But then people decided, let's bring cars. Mm-hmm. And they're not afraid to run over you because they have somewhere to be.
They don't care if you sue them or not. I assume we could sue them if they ran us over.
I guess. I mean, like, I had international insurance.
Oh, did you have to take that out?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Like health insurance?
Yeah. It wasn't expensive. Like, you just had to make sure you had enough that would cover a hospital stay if you were hospitalized, that would fly, like, one relative to come see you if it was, like, life or death, and it had to cover transportation of remains.
So it was like a death insurance almost.
Pretty much. It was like, if you die, we'll get you home.
Was that through the school, or was that just something that was kind of...
The school made us take it out.
Okay. But that's normally offered to people who are traveling, like, abroad. I've never heard of that.
I had to, like, call my insurance company and, like, make sure I was covered. And if I wasn't, like, you had to, like, buy a plan through the school.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. See, I always wondered about that because so many other countries, I didn't know how they would look upon, like, a tourist coming over there and getting hurt because they have really good...
Mm-hmm. They have really great hospitals and pharmacies and
but I
health
mean,
insurance.
They have, like, usually socialized medicine, like, everybody is covered. So I didn't know, like, how they would treat, like, someone who wasn't from the country. Like, and if they'd stick it to you or...
I mean, I think they'd probably stick it to you if you don't have insurance. Mm-hmm. Because you're not part of, like, the universal health care. Mm-hmm. But we need to hop on that.
We do. We really do.
We really do.
So there was just a lot of people in Rome.
Yeah, there was a ton of people. And, like, I know this is going to sound odd, but there was a pharmacy on every other corner.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, there was a ton of them. And, like, I know that they were all a chain because they all had, like, the same, like, signage.
Uh-huh. So it's kind of like here. Like, there's just a pharmacy, like, on every corner.
Yeah, like, it was like there was a Rite Aid every 20 feet. So nice. Oh, they were so nice. They were like some of the nicest buildings we went in.
It was a pharmacy?
It was a pharmacy. I mean, they were just so tiny, but like all the shelves were like backlit and it was like glowing white and the products looked very nice and I mean the pharmacist was nice to you and
Oh my goodness.
yeah. And like this was what I thought was really odd. They had like condom vending machines.
Mhm.
Like you just put in like a €2 coin and like you pressed a button and like you got like a roll of condoms out. Their condoms all have really weird names.
Uh-huh.
You know, like ours are like Magnum, like Fire and Ice. These were like Jeans, Love, Play. Why is my condom called Jeans?
Like jeans.
Yeah, and it had a picture of like jean pants on it.
Was it blue?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh. Did you buy some?
A friend of mine did, but she's a lesbian, so I don't really see why she bought them.
Well, maybe it was just to have them.
I think she bought them just to have them.
I would have bought a roll if they were called jeans.
They were €6 a box.
Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, so I opted out of the condom buying.
Yeah, I thought like, oh, I'd give you a couple euros to see one.
I would have given like 2 or 3, but I wasn't given 6.
Oh God, no, that's too much. Not for like something because I just want to see if it's blue, like a
Yeah,
pair
like
of
if I was gonna
jeans.
use them, like okay, but
So, what was your favorite thing that you've seen in Italy?
the Sistine Chapel ceiling. Like that is one thing that if you go, you have to do. Like it is as impressive as they say. Like even if you're not religious, like it is still super impressive. Like super impressive. Cuz like you're sitting there and like the ceiling's flat. But like you're sitting there and like you're looking at it and you're like, "Holy shit, those are moving." And then you're like, "Wait a minute. No, they're not." But then you're like, "No, they totally are." Like they're just that well painted.
I can't even really imagine seeing it in person, to be honest. Like, cause
Like there are no pictures that could do it justice. Like you just have to go see it.
So that was your favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I will ask, what was your least favorite thing?
Spanish Steps and Florence in general. I did not like Florence at all.
I just meant in Rome, but we'll get to Florence. But the Spanish Steps.
The Spanish Steps in Rome were my least favorite thing. I mean, they're literally just a bunch of white steps. Like, not impressive. You can totally skip them. And, like, if somebody's like, "Oh, you have to go see the Spanish Steps," just say you went. Because, like, they're literally just white steps. And, like, there's some... No, they're not even really lit up.
They're not lit up.
No, they're not lit up.
Oh, so they're
The bottom ones kind of are, but I think those are more lit by, like, street lights than, like, Spanish step lights.
Okay.
No, they're just steps.
But that fountain seemed really like that snap of that fountain that you sent me just seemed miserable.
The Trevi fountain was miserable. It was one of those things that, like, you spent, like, 15 minutes there. And, like, you could have spent a really long time there. But it's so touristy that you only want to spend 15 minutes there because there are so many people. And, like, you're just packed in so tight. And, like, what we would do is, like, when somebody would get up, like, we would, like, sit, like, on the edge of the fountain. And then, like, somebody else would get up and, like, another person in our group would sit. So we eventually just took up, like, this small spot to take a group photo. But, like, it took us a long time to get a spot for a group photo.
Is that the fountain you're supposed to throw, like, money in so you get to come back or something?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
I did. My friend Andrea, when she went to Rome, she had, like, strep throat or, like, was getting over the flu or something. She was really sick. And, like, the first thing that they did was, like, go to the Trevi fountain. And she was miserable. And they were like, "Andrea, throw a coin in the fountain so you'll come back." And she was like, "I don't fucking want to come back." And, like, I didn't go, like, we went on separate trips, but, like, she was not having it. She did not want to go back. And she still talks about it to this day. She's like, "Rome, I hated it. I will never go back."
Wow, and it's just because she was sick. I always try to, like, if I have a bad time because of, like, a personal issue, like, I always try to separate that from the place.
Yes.
Just,
I try to do that too.
it's hard.
It's really hard.
So, because I'll never go back to New Orleans, but, I think that place honestly just sucks.
I've never been, but
There's no reason to go. I mean, I went when I was too young to drink, so maybe it's funner when you're absolutely wasted.
yeah.
I I don't know.
I imagine that's the only time it's really fun is when you're absolutely trashed.
I mean, it was filthy. And this was before, maybe, I don't know, it was before Hurricane Katrina is when I was down there.
My mom went a few years ago and she said it was gross.
Okay, so it's just a fucking gross city.
Yeah.
Like, not worth going. Okay, that makes sense.
But I mean, like, you know, she went after Hurricane Katrina. But, like, my mom was a very, like, secretive drinker. Like, she tries not to let people know.
Mm-hmm. And when you're down there, like, if she was having the trip like I was having, you can't hide it. If I could have drank, I would have. Because it was hot, it was humid, it was fucking miserable. And some guy, like, tried to get Steve to give him $40 for, like, wiping off his All-Stars. And we got stuck on some fucking boat for, like, 4 hours.
And you hadn't ate.
Yeah, so it was just not good.
That was the saving grace of my Italy trip is I just got drunk at every meal. And kind of rode that out for the rest of the day.
Did you mostly drink red or white wine?
At the beginning of the trip, we drank red.
Do you know what kind it was? Was it like a Merlot?
We usually just bought the house, whatever, like, because I'm not, like, a avid wine connoisseur. I mean, I'm sure I will be, you know, when I can actually, like, go buy it. Mm-hmm. But, like, now I'm just like, well, I'll take whatever you can give me. And then we, like, as the trip went on, we were all like, oh, wait, we like the white wine better. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, there were still some people who preferred the red, so we would just buy, like, a bottle of red and a bottle of white, and actually, it ended up being, like, more like 2 bottles of red and 2 bottles of white. And we would all just drink. And it was really fun.
So you prefer white over red?
I do.
Do you know if you were drinking, like, Pinot Grigio or Chardonnay? Just whatever they were giving you?
Well, because, like, all the names of them were in Italian.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, I never really knew what I was eating or drinking the entire time I was there. I mean, like... You could have been feeding me some weird stuff, and I would have had no idea.
As long as it tasted good.
As long as it tasted good, yeah. And most of it did. Mm-hmm. Like, my last night in Venice, I ate some sort of fat. Like, it was pretty much just fat.
Uh-huh.
But it was amazing.
Uh-huh.
Like, it was some sort of animal fat, and I have no idea what it was. Because, like, I just ordered, like, the meat menu, and they bring you, like, 3 meat courses. Like, you don't get a pick, it's just whatever they bring you. In Italy, like, ordering the chef's menu is a really big thing. Mm-hmm. And, like, they'll bring you, like, 6 different courses. Oh. But, like, you don't pick any of them. It's just, like, whatever the chef wants to bring you.
Right. That seems really awesome, those 6 different courses, you say? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't even care if they're big courses, like...
Oh, no, they're full courses. Like...
Oh.
In places around here, it would be, like, your meal. And, like, they won't take your next plate until you finish it all. And, like, they get really offended if you don't finish everything on your plate.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta be hungry.
You gotta be hungry. Or you gotta, and like I said, like, dinner in Italy is, like, an event. Like, it takes, like, 4 hours to eat dinner. Mm-hmm. And, like, you gotta be ready for that. Because nowhere, unless you go to an Italian McDonald's, are you gonna get a quick meal. Mm-hmm. Like.
Are the restaurants open, like, super late then?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they seat very late, but they're open. Mm-hmm. Like, they might stop seating at, like, 11.
At 11?
Yeah.
That's late.
But they're open. Because we would eat dinner until, like, 1 in the morning sometimes.
Oh, my God.
And, like, we would start at, like, 10.
That's really awesome.
Yep.
To just eat, like, a bunch of different courses and drink wine for, like, 4 hours. Mm-hmm.
I'd like, be all right. Dinner's my favorite meal of the day, so, like, it was a really good time for me. Mm-hmm. Like, it would be hard for people who don't eat big dinners, but, like...
I could prepare for that. Mm-hmm. Like, I could eat a big dinner. That sounds so awesome.
It was. The food was absolutely amazing.
What was the favorite meal that you had? Where were you when you had your favorite meal?
I was in Rome.
Okay.
When I had my favorite pasta ever. Most of my favorite food was in Rome.
Okay.
When I was in Rome one night, I ordered this, like... I don't know. It was a 4-cheese pasta. And it come out, and I think it was basically macaroni. Mm-hmm. But it was like a 4-cheese macaroni, and it was all these fancy Italian cheeses. Oh, it was amazing. And I had a really great lasagna while I was in Rome. We had a really good meal in Florence, too, but Florence as a city kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm. The food couldn't save it.
No, I mean, the food was the only saving point of Florence.
Did you have any, like, special, like, Italian cheeses while you were there? Like, just...
In Assisi, we ordered a cheese plate appetizer. Mm-hmm. And we ate some of the cheeses, and they were pretty good. And I'm not usually a cheese plate kind of gal.
I love cheese. Like cheese.
But this was good. The cheese over there is really good.
Cheese and wine and things like that.
And that's the thing, like, when you go to bars over there, they bring you, like when you order a drink, they bring you, like, 4 different bar snacks. Like, you get peanuts, and you get chips, and you get some sort of, like, gummy candy, and... Because, like, we got caught in a rainstorm in Venice, so we just went in a bar and got drinks. Mm-hmm. I got some sort of alcoholic chocolate dessert thing.
So what was the favorite city that you visited?
Assisi, and then Venice, and then Rome.
Oh, you like Venice more than Rome?
Yes, I like Venice more than Rome.
I have to, okay, like, here's the thing. It's like, I've never heard of Assisi.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said it's, like, it's little.
Yeah. It was just a little tiny town that, like, we had just stopped over in.
Is it worth going to? Like...
Yes. There's not much to do, so I would only stay for, like, a day. There's 2 basilicas, which are just, like, churches, that you can go tour. There's a castle that you could go tour that we actually didn't go tour. But, like, it's just this little town that they've built out of the side of a mountain.
That's pretty awesome.
And, like, it's so small and so quaint. And, like, it's adorable. Like, you just see it and you're like, this is what I pictured when I pictured Italy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it is definitely worth going to.
And, like, we had some pretty good food, and I bought some of my wine there.
What kind of wine did you bring home?
It was dessert wine. It was a honey dessert wine.
Oh, that sounds good.
It was made with no sugar.
Okay.
And I gave a bottle to, like, my stepmom, and she was like, it's way more alcoholic than...
Is it?
Yeah, she said it was way more alcoholic than, like, a lot of the American wine she'd had.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. And, like, when I went and tasted it, like, you know, they just give you, like, a tiny little glass for it, and I, like... Just like a shot glass. And, like, I drank the shot glass. And I was like, oh, well, that's really good. But, like, I'd already had, like, a bunch of wine at lunch. So, like, I wasn't, like, feeling it. Mm-hmm. You know. But apparently she said, like, she drank the whole bottle. Mm-hmm. And when she got done drinking the bottle, she was like, oh, I'm drunker than I thought.
This is your stepmom?
Yeah. My stepmom and my dad don't care to admit that they are drinkers.
I don't know if I'd make it back alive over there, to be honest. Like, I don't know. If I'm eating and drinking, I can handle a lot more, so.
Yeah, that was kind of me. Like, I'm sure if I had just been, like, drinking on an empty stomach, it would have hit me a lot harder. Mm-hmm. But like I said, like, you're eating 2 or 3 courses every meal.
So why did you like Venice more than Rome?
Because Rome was so crowded.
Venice wasn't as crowded as Rome?
No. Venice was not crowded at all.
Would you say that you went, like, during, like, peak tourist season, or did anyone say?
We went a little bit early for, like, peak tourist season, but there were still quite a few tourists there. The Rio Alto Bridge was crowded, but I think that was just because, like, that's where most of the shops are. Mm-hmm. So, like, anybody who was buying anything was there. And, like, our boat tour, and, like St. Peter's Square and stuff was kind of, it was, like, St. Mark's Square, I think, was kind of crowded, but, like, Rome was way more crowded.
Really? Mm-hmm. I thought they would be about the same.
Mm-mm. Rome was way more crowded.
Was Venice dirty?
Yeah, it's dirty.
Oh, God. See, this is whenever I talk to Joe.
But Rome is dirty, too.
Like, just as dirty as Venice?
Venice is kind of a different dirt.
Well, Venice puts me off because of the water.
The water kind of stinks, but it only really stinks if you're down on it.
Uh-huh.
But, like, from up on the streets, you can't really tell. Although they say not to go, like, right in July, because the water kind of stagnates. Oh, my God. And then it really stinks.
See, this is why, like, I always thought of Venice as being, like, nasty. Is I always think of, like, stale, stagnant, like, a city built on a stale, stagnant lake. Mm-hmm. And, like, oh, don't touch that water, or you're going to get some kind of, like, weird lake disease, or you're going to get some kind of, like, funky virus from a mosquito, and you're going to die. Like, that's why I was always afraid. Like, does the city look like it would give you a weird funky disease?
No. It kind of has this just, like, old world charm to it. You're just like, oh, now I see why Venice is so romanticized. Because, like, there's a reason for it. Mm-hmm. Because it is kind of awesome.
Okay.
But it's kind of like a labyrinth. It's really easy to get lost. Rome dirty is, like, kind of like a dry dirty. Like how I imagine, like, a Las Vegas dirty would be.
Oh.
You know, just because, like, there's a lot of dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of ruins and stuff. And people are stirring it up, walking, driving, that kind of thing. And Venice is more of, like, a moldy, wet dirt. Like, Rome dirt you see on your, like, your pants and stuff more. But Venice dirt you feel.
Oh, do you think I would enjoy Rome or Venice more?
Venice.
Really?
I feel like Rome is going to be way too crowded for you and Steve. I feel like you'll get to the Colosseum, you'll have tickets, you'll see how many people are there, and you're like, out.
Guys, like you went on vacation with us.
Venice is nice. It's beautiful. Something you should go see. There's not as much to see in Venice.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there is, we didn't see it all. I don't think there's as much to see. Like, as far as, like, ruins-wise and, like, ancient history-wise. But, like, it's just, Venice is a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Rome is just more of a city.
Mm-hmm.
Venice is a feeling and Rome is a city.
That's nice.
And, like, you need the feeling.
Oh, I guess, like, the big thing with Venice is the gondolas.
The gondolas, they're nice. It's cool. He kind of gives you some history as, like, you're going down the gondola. But they're not worth $80.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we actually pay, like, my mom sent me so much money to do it that, like, we got, like, the 45-minute tour instead of the 30-minute tour.
Oh, wait, it's $80? Or, yeah, it's €80, right?
Mm-hmm. €80 for 30 minutes.
For 30 minutes. Per person?
Per gondola.
Oh, okay. God, I thought it was per person. I was just like, Jesus Christ.
That would be $160 for you and Steve.
Yeah. But it's not per person,
No,
right?
it's per gondola.
Okay, because I was ready to say, Jesus, they are making a fucking killing on those gondolas.
Mm-hmm. And then they leave, like, a hat at the end. And they're like, if you feel like you need to tip your gondolier, leave it in the hat.
Oh, okay. I thought tipping wasn't, like, a big thing in Italy.
It's not, except for in the really touristy spots.
Oh.
So if you get a waiter that's asking for tips,
Mm-hmm.
or, like, something that's asking for tips, you kind of know you're in a pretty touristy spot.
Mm-hmm. How was the gondola ride?
It was really nice. It was something that, like, I would do it again, but it's not something that, like, I'm going to tell everybody you have to ride a gondola. Like, I think you should have to go see the Sistine Chapel. I think you should have to go see the Colosseum. And I think you do need to go see the islands in Venice, but you don't have to ride a gondola. Like, you can kind of get, like, a feel for the city without paying $80 to sit on a boat for 30 minutes.
You need to tell about how you managed to ride the gondola.
All right.
Because it's very sweet.
It's embarrassing.
No, that's sweet.
It really was a really sweet gesture, but, like, I totally did not ask for it. It's kind of awkward. So, when I was in Venice, my mom and my dad and everybody I knew kept texting me, and they were like, oh, are you going to ride a gondola? Are you going to ride a gondola? Are you going to ride a gondola? And I was like, well, no, like, it's really expensive. Like, it's €80 for, like, per boat. And the other kids on the trip, we don't have the money to do that. So, like, my mom emails my teacher over there and is like, if you have the time and the weather permitting, I'm going to send Kaitlyn some money, and I'm going to pay for all 10 of you to ride a gondola.
So sweet.
So then my mom texts me and she's like, can you keep a secret? And I was like, well, yeah, sure, tell me. And I thought it was going to be something like my brother's fiance was pregnant, or like we got a dog, or, something like completely non-pertaining to me. And then my mom's like, you've got some money coming your way. I'm paying for everybody to ride a gondola. And my mom sent me $300, and we rode gondolas for 45 minutes, all 10 of us.
That's really nice.
It was really sweet, but, like,
your teacher wanted his gondola all to himself.
yeah. I was like, I am not fucking paying for you to ride with your girlfriend. Like, no.
Oh, his fiance.
His fiance, they were married, they were engaged at that point.
Sorry, they pretty much almost ruined your trip, didn't they?
They really did.
I know you've told me, like, that other guy's, like, you're not Chuck, the other teacher's name, and I never can remember it. And I swear I called him, I think I told you, I called him Cicero. His name's like Cicero. I don't know.
His name is Anthony L. Cascio, PhD. And, like, whenever we weren't calling him Cascio, we would be like, Anthony L. Cascio, PhD, we need your attention. Like, we had to say the whole thing.
He seems like he would have been a much better Tom to have gone with. Than...
He was a good person to go with, because, like, he kind of knew, like, what was going on, and, like, he was more chill about it. Like, his whole thing was like, well, you just have to, like, let Italy be Italy. Like, if things are running late, they're running late. Like, you just have to let it do its thing. Because, like, once you try to, like, go against kind of, like, the flow of Italy, that's when you really start messing things up.
Was it that different from, like, the flow here?
Yeah. Everything moves either really fast or really slow. Like, buses are never on time.
And cars are almost running you over.
Yeah, cars almost run you over a lot. Everybody's in a hurry. Because they've ate dinner for 4 hours and to get somewhere quick now.
You recommend keeping your passport on you.
Yes. I very much recommend keeping your passport on you. Put it in your bra. Put it, like, in that thing that goes around your neck. Because then you always know 100% where it's at. So, what happened was when I was in Assisi, in all the monasteries we stayed in, they asked for a copy of your passport. And so, I had given Sister Sylvia my passport to copy. And then I came back up and we were going on to tour the city. So, like, I just threw it on my bed. And then, like, we came back. And that night, like, I wasn't used to having it out. I was used to having it, like, in my, zipper lanyard thing. And so, I just kind of assumed it was there and didn't know that it was on the bed. And I got in the bed and I went to sleep. And the next morning, we get up, pack all our crap up, and go to Florence. And then pretty much as soon as I get to Florence, which is a 2-hour train ride, I'm kind of like, oh, wait. Oh, shit. I think I left my passport. And so, like, I'm panicking on, like, the inside. But, like, I'm trying to, like, not show everybody else that, like, I'm on the verge of a panic attack. Because, like, if I've lost my passport, I no longer exist. Like, my driver's license isn't valid over there. Like, I can't get home. So I check my zipper lanyard thing, and I'm like, nope. So I check, like, all the various pockets in my backpack. And, like, my roommates, who I was rooming with in Assisi, kind of look at me, and they're like, what's wrong? And I was like, I think I left my passport. And my roommate Sarah was like, are you sure? And I was like, pretty sure. She was like, how sure? And I'm like, 98% sure. So then I'm like, but maybe it's in my, like, checked luggage. So then we get back, like, to the hotel, and I tear apart my suitcase. Like, I take everything out of it. Like, everything. And I can't find it. So I called their monastery, and I was like, I think I left my passport. And they're like, yes, behind bed. So what's happened was I left it on the bed, and I went to sleep, and I kicked it behind the bed, is what I'm assuming, and just forgot about it. Like, I had, like, a nice passport cover on it. Like, it was so cute. Not anymore. It's like a Kate Spade passport cover. Like, it matched my wallet.
Oh, my God, you bought a Kate Spade one?
Yeah, my mom got it for me for Christmas.
Oh, and now it's gone.
Now it's gone. And so, like, I'm having this, like, meltdown over it. And so I have to tell Cascio what happened because I have to find a way to get it back. And so I tell Cascio, and he's like, well, see if you can get the monastery to mail it to us. And Assisi's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and I think had it happened in, like, Rome or something, I totally could have pulled it off. But the mail in Assisi apparently only runs every 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I only had 3 days to get it. And, so I tried, like, DHL, I tried FedEx, I tried UPS, I tried regular mail. There was no way that my passport was going to make it to Venice in time for me to go home. So
I would have been crying. Were you crying?
I cried privately.
Oh.
Like, I never cried in front of the group except, like, one time. And, like, it was just, like, leftover tears, kind of how they, like, roll out a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But, like, every time I felt myself, like, about to have, like, a panic attack cry, I would go, like, around the corner and just, like, start to sob. But then I would realize that, like, all these Italian people, well, we were in Florence, so all these American tourists were staring at me, and I'm just, like, over here sobbing, and I'm like, get your shit together, get your shit together, get your shit together. So, like, I would, like, wipe my tears and, like, walk back, and I would be like, hi.
I turn, like, bright red when I cry. I can't hide it.
I do too, but, like, I'm just hot. Mm-hmm. Although it didn't really work in Florence because it was raining.
Maybe that's what it was.
It matched the mood.
Yeah. These aren't tears. It's been raining on my face.
So then I have to go to the American consulate. And I have to go through the strictest security I've ever been through in my life. Way stricter than any of the airports I was in. And, like, they take everything from you. I was allowed to keep a blanket and a copy of my passport.
I do not understand the blanket.
I don't understand the blanket either.
Well, I guess, like, if it takes so long, you might have to take a nap there.
And the consulate's only open between 8 to 12. Like, that's as long as it's open.
Well, then you can't take a nap there. Never mind.
Yeah, it's open from 8 a.m. to 12. And so I go, and, like, they make me, like, swear on my right hand and, like, refill out the passport form. And, like, they're, like, they make you swear that, like, everything that you wrote down is true, that you're not lying, that how you've lost your passport is not a lie. Like, then you have to pay $145.
Is that more or about the same as just getting a passport?
A new passport, when I got mine, was $175.
Oh, yeah, because
of the post office.
Because the bitch at the post office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was $145. And, like, I had to call my mom and have her transfer me money because, I mean, I had money. I had, like, $200. But, like, after I had paid this passport money, like,
You didn't have anything.
I didn't have any.
Yeah.
So, like, I had to call my mom and tell her what happened and get more money. And then they gave me a temporary passport, and, like, it's not as nice as the regular passports. Like, it's not as shiny, and it has, like, a stamp in the back that says, this is a temporary passport, and, like, it's only good for a year. Like, it's totally, like, a shame thing. Like, you had one job, and you fucked up, so your passport's ugly now.
And you don't have your Kate Spade wallet.
Yeah, I don't have a Kate Spade, like, holder for it. Like, all the stuff that was in my passport's gone.
Well, maybe it might show back up.
I asked them to mail it to me from the monastery, and she said that she was going to send me the shipping information, and she never did.
Well,
so it might one day show up at my house. I mean, I'll sign for it if it does.
Yeah, hopefully you might get it. So,
yeah, so do not lose your passport.
Well, actually, like, here's the thing, is, like, I always assumed that if you lost your passport, I didn't know what. I mean, you're the only person I've ever known who has left the continent and went to a place where, like, they don't speak English. And, you know, what do you do? Like, I was always worried about, you know, when we go to, like, London or something like that, you know, what do you do? Like, people make a big deal about your passport. Like,
yeah, your passport's a really big deal everywhere you go.
Yeah, they make it out like people might try to steal it. Like,
people do try to steal it. I mean, like, one lady who was there, it's really hard for Americans to get married in Italy. Like, civilly married, you can get, like, you know, spiritually married and, like, symbolically married, but, like, the actual paperwork is really hard to get. So, like, there was a ton of people there filling out stuff for weddings, and then there was me. And, like, everyone else was there for happy reasons, and, like, they only had to pay, like, €16, and I was over here paying $145, and was there because I fucked up. And, yeah, you go to the consulate, and they basically just print you a new one. So all that bullshit about, like, it takes, like, 3 weeks to get your passport back is total bullshit. They can give it to you in a day if they wanted to.
Right.
It's just, like, a game. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, that, it's still scary.
It's
I mean,
really
it's not,
scary.
it is don't lose your passport. But if you do lose it, you can get back.
It is possible to get another one.
It's good. I'm so sorry that happened. I would not wish that on anybody. But that is good information to have.
It's a good experience. Like, it was an awful experience. But it was a good experience because now I at least know, like, it is possible. Like,
what you do when you lose it.
There aren't many people who know about my lost passport. You know. Cameron knows. My mom knows. And I think Gina overheard us talking about it and asked about it.
I do know that, like, now the way that you have talked about, like, you said Florence was awful.
And, like you said, like, when you're having an awful time, you try to separate, like, your awful time from the city experience. And so, like, I thought that maybe that's why I didn't enjoy Florence, because I was just so panicked, like, holy shit, am I not an American citizen anymore? Like, who am I? Am I an island all up to myself?
To start a new life.
Although, really, Italy wouldn't be a bad place to do it. I asked everybody else, I was like, did you hate Florence as much as I did? And they were like, yeah, it was the shittiest place we went. And I don't know if that's, like, because it rained the whole time we were there, which sucked. Or also because, like, there was a lot to see, but, like, we didn't have tickets for it, and, like, they were all really expensive.
Oh.
So, like, we didn't tour the Duomo, and, like, we only had one day there, so, like, we didn't do much. And it was raining, so we really didn't do much. There's a really big American university in Florence. So, like, there are a lot of American college students. And, like, yes, I was an American college student, but, like, I didn't go over there to see other American college students. Like, I went to go see Italy.
Yeah.
So, like, Florence was totally, like, I could have skipped it and went somewhere else.
It just seemed very Americanized.
Yes, it was very American.
Mm.
Everybody in Florence spoke English.
Oh, like everybody, huh?
Yeah, like, I didn't run into, like, one person that didn't speak English.
Mm-hmm. I swear everywhere else, like,
Mm-hmm.
was there a lot of people who didn't speak English?
There was a lot of people who spoke partial English.
Okay.
That was like, they spoke, like, if they were a waiter, like, they
Mm-hmm.
spoke enough to, like, get your order.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, if they were a taxi driver, like, they spoke enough to, like, communicate on where you need to go.
Mm-hmm. If they speak partial English and, like, say you spoke a little bit of Italian,
You could communicate.
you do good.
Yes.
Okay.
And, like, if worse comes to worse, you can always type it in Google Translate, and it might not always be right, but it'll be close enough to right that, like, they'll get the point.
Mm-hmm. So nothing to be scared of.
No, it was nothing to be scared of.
Okay.
The consulate was scary, because, like, it was just, like,
Well, it sounds like a place that if you enter, you might not come back out of.
yeah. Yeah. And, like, there was a lot of people there, like, going to be approved for, like, visas to come to America.
Oh.
And that was a separate room, but, like, you could still, like, see them and hear them.
Mm-hmm.
And this one woman, they, like, denied her request.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like, pitched a fit. And, like, I thought they were going to have to escort her out. And I was like, oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. And, like, I kind of thought that, like, there was going to be, like, big pictures of Donald Trump everywhere. But there wasn't. It was just kind of like a bank. Just some marble and some wood. And it was very basic.
So, overall, good time.
Overall, it was a great trip. Would go again. Not necessarily to Florence, but everywhere else. I would visit again.
And maybe not with...
And maybe not with Chuck and Cindy. The whole trip was basically an excuse for him to propose to her because he proposed halfway through our trip. And then after that, we, like, never saw him with group activities.
He gave up.
Except the time that I paid for them to ride a gondola. But whatever.
Yeah.
Well, my mom paid for them to ride a gondola, but they used my credit card, so.
Mm-hmm. When they wanted their own gondola.
Yeah, they wanted their own, and I was like, no. I was like, I only have enough money for two, sorry.
Shameless bastard.
It really was. Like, the whole gondola trip, she was like, turn around, let me take pictures for your mom. Let me take pictures for your mom. And I was like, I'm taking pictures for my own mom. Like, taking them on my own. Let me enjoy my gondola ride, and you keep to yourself, Cindy.
You know, I'm sorry, but since you, your mom, you technically paid for that gondola.
Yeah.
You should have had a say over who was on the gondola with you.
I agree. I
Like,
agree. And, like, she was, like, asking, like, our gondolier. She was like, will you sing for us? Will you sing for us? I'll pay you.
gross.
I was like, this is, like, shameless exploitation.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of sad. What did he sing?
He just sung some little song in Italian. I mean, it was pretty. He wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he probably gets asked that all the time, but I mean, still.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems gross.
It was. It was gross. Like, they were, like, the American tourists that, like, you don't want to be when you go places.
Well, you said there was a ton of tourists everywhere. Like, was there anywhere that you felt like you stuck out?
No, there wasn't a place where I felt like I stuck out particularly. There were some places where, I mean, you can probably tell, like, listening to this, we have kind of, like, a country accent, and, like, mine comes out sometimes when I get a little drunk, or when I talk really fast. And, like, people would come up to us and they'd be like, we know you're from America, where are you from?
Oh my god.
And I was like, we're from Southwest Virginia.
That's odd that they would just walk up and ask you where you're from, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, when you're in a foreign country and, like, you see other Americans, you're like, American! Hi, brother, sister, country lover.
I think Steve always wondered if we could pull off being Canadian. I think now, like, he's so afraid that, like, everyone will hate us.
No, everybody hates, like, the Asian tourists now.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The, like, stereotypical American tourist has kind of faded away, and now it's, like, the Asian tourist.
Oh. I have seen some pretty crazy Asian tourists.
Me too.
So, like...
Me too. When I was in Yellowstone National Park, I saw an Asian man with an iPad trying to confront, like, a male elk. And I was like, dude, you are about to get your shit fucked. Like, that thing has horns. It is big. It is about to get you. And, like, it started coming towards him, and he hightailed it out of there.
At least he realized. Yeah.
I mean, like, he had, like, the iPad, like, really close to that thing's face.
Mm.
And I was like, dude.
Please don't make me watch you get
Yeah.
gored to death.
I mean, like, I'll record it and go viral, but, like, the elk over there are more tame than, like, the elk over here because they're more used to human interaction, but, like, he was closer than me and you are right now.
Oh my God, you could not pay me to get that close to one.
No.
For like the greatest picture in the world. I might could get $26,000 for that picture for some nature magazine. Nope.
No, I mean, he was close to this thing, and it started to, like, huff at him and, like, kind of, like, and I was like, oh. I was like, this is going to end bad. And then I think he kind of figured it out because we were all kind of giving them the side eye, and then, like, this elk was not having it, and he stopped.
I had no idea though that other countries had a problem now with like the Asian tourists. That's good to know.
Because I think airfare is really cheap over there, especially like out of South Korea. It's really cheap.
Oh.
So like it's easier to travel than it is here.
Yeah, I'm sure those plane tickets are pretty expensive.
I paid $3,000 for the whole trip.
So that would be $6,000 if and that's but you stayed in a monastery. I would not stay in a monastery.
You could probably get by with Airbnbs, honestly.
I would want a real tub.
And do okay.
Yeah, I need a real tub.
These showers were the smallest showers I have ever been in. I mean, like, you couldn't fit a bigger person, like, in the shower. Like, there's no possible way. I don't know how Chuck and Cindy fit in the shower. And I mean, like, that's rude, but, like, I honestly don't because, like, I had a hard time, like, moving around in the shower. And, like, the one in Rome just had, like, the fixed shower head. And some of them had, like, the body spray one. So that would have been a little bit easier. But, like, the fixed shower head would have... No.
Would you go back?
Yes.
Was there anywhere that you wish you could have gone?
We didn't go to Milan. And I would have liked to go there. We didn't go to Greece. We didn't do Pompeii. I would have liked to have done that. I would like to go again and start in Rome again and work my way south as opposed to, like, back up north. I mean, I would totally go to Venice again. I would totally go to Assisi again. But, like, if I ever went back to Italy, I would like to see other things.